Okay, I am back for another Bible study review. So I am skipping ahead a little bit further in Genesis when we're talking about Abraham's wife Sarah and her getting pregnant. Um, so I think it was so interesting that when God is talking to Abraham and Sarah, and he is telling them that you'll have a child, um, Sarah was listening to the conversation. She was kind of in the kitchen preparing food, and she was listening to the conversation where God is basically saying, this time next year, your wife, Sarah, is going to have a baby. And it says in Genesis 18:12. So she laughed silently to herself and said, "How could a worn out woman like me enjoy such pleasure, especially when my master, my husband, is also old?" Genesis 18:13. Then the Lord says to Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh? Why did she say, 'Can an old woman like me have a baby?' Is anything too hard for the Lord?" And then Genesis 18:15. Sarah was afraid, so she denied it, saying, "I didn't laugh." But the Lord said, "No, you did laugh." And I thought that that was so funny, because how many times in our life is the Lord putting something on our heart, putting purpose in our life, and we laugh at it, we scoff at it, because we think that maybe it's too big for God, or maybe we think it's not a good fit for us, or maybe we think, how could I do that? And how disrespectful, even God says, is there anything that's too hard for the Lord? Especially when we have this whole Bible telling stories about how God has raised people from the dead, has healed people, has made lame men walk, has cured blindness, has risen Jesus from the grave. I think it's so silly that sometimes we scoff at what we think God's purpose is for us. And I thought that this was such a good reminder and example that nothing is too big for God.